Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is a Monday night, and you are in the right place. You're with your friends. You're with the regulars. I'm Cody Decker.
I'm Tanya Ray Fox, and I just remembered to take my phone off of the desk. If I'm going to have a computer on, I can't have the phone and that's a lot.
We're nothing if not complete professionals and very, very honest about everything we do, all of our flaws and all of our good things, all of our bad things. Welcome to the show. Lots to cover today. And you know what? It's remarkable. It's a Monday, and despite March Madness taking place, despite a lot of things that have taken place, the WBC ended a week ago.
Yep.
We got Major League Baseball opening this week.
We do.
A surprisingly, despite a couple of moves that happened this morning, a surprisingly quiet sports weekend, all things considered.
Outside of March Madness, really. Yeah. I mean, I was supposed to go to the flag football game in LA. I was invited by Fanatics to go.
Come on, Fanatics.
They owe me one because the tickets did not arrive in my email. Everybody was apologetic, but once I knew I was like, well, I'm not gonna go now. Like if I don't have my free tickets, I'm not gonna go. So we decided to go to Big Dean's and watch March Madness.
I saw your post, by the way, and when you were at Big Dean's, I was actually mad that
I
would have gone to Big Dean's.
Of course, we would have told you we were going to Big Dean's.
Because I was in Catalina Island and I had a great time. I needed like a 24-hour get away from Los Angeles day.
Yeah.
But when I saw you post Big Dean's, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was just like,
I know. I was so
bitch!
I was like, because any other time, if we were going, I'd been like, hey, we're going to Big Dean's, and you would have been there in 10 minutes. I would have been
there right away.
But it was amazing. Amazing thing happened while we were there. So they were playing multiple games at once. Obviously, they're playing a women's game and a men's game, and it's slammed. Big Dean's on a Saturday, and so Chris and I have posted up in a corner. And they had the women's game on that was going to overtime. It had just, it was UCLA. Who was it? It was UCLA.
Oh, you mean number one in the nation, UCLA women's basketball?
Yeah, the one that I'm drawing an awful
I'll
blank.
freely admit, and I hate to admit this, I have not been watching.
I was watching the
women's
game,
side.
so I was watching the game, so I have no excuse not to remember this. But there was this crazy play where they thought that they had won the game, and then they called the points back, and so this guy goes over to change it to the TCU Duke game, and it's tied 61-61 going to OT. And he goes to change it, and this group of men, two tables back in the back area of Big Dean's, where the back bar is, was like, no, what are you doing? No. And he was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, you guys you don't want TCU Duke? And he was like, they were in unison. All these white bros at this table go, look at the score.
It was a game, dude.
And it was really funny because I'm like, it doesn't matter if they're gambling, whatever it is. They didn't honestly seem like they were gambling. They honestly just seemed like they were invested in the game for some reason. But the whole table was like, you are not turning this women's game off to put on TCU Duke. And it healed something in me just a little bit.
That's good.
I don't care why they needed the women's basketball on, but those white bros were not letting that man change it, and it was wonderful.
I watched a little bit of college basketball this weekend. Definitely caught that Laker game on Saturday. When
we were just talking about that.
Nailing down a shot. The hero of the Lakers, as we all expected,
yes.
Mr. Kennard.
There were a lot of unsung heroes this weekend, including Luke.
And yes, we will talk about the Lakers in today's show.
Yeah.
Yes, we got NFL to talk about. Yes, we do have aforementioned
March Madness.
Madness to discuss, and your Fanatics game we have to mention as well, amongst other things. And of course, we're finishing the show today with what I personally think is the most important story in America. Very excited.
Yeah.
Very excited. Very,
Everybody
very.
knows it. We don't even have to tease
You
it.
all know it. And let's just say, Afro Man, you're the man, I should really say.
He's the man. He's the Afro man. He's all the men.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get right into it. We got some sports to talk about. Headline number one, big day in the NFL.
As ever. I mean, truly, it never ends.
Yes.
I know every time you open up that rundown, you're like, how are we leading with NFL again? Never, always leave it to me to lead with NFL.
If it was just in Jigba, I would have been mad
I
at
wouldn't
you
have
that
done
this
that.
was number
I
one.
wouldn't have done that. I would never have done that to you.
I mean, that's bumping down to 3.
No, I wouldn't have done that to you. But it's sort of it's the tandem hit of Jackson Smith and Jigba agreeing to a record-breaking 4-year, $168.6 million contract. He is now the highest paid wide receiver of all time. This is not surprising. None of this is surprising. Every time there is a new star young wide receiver who proves themselves, they're going to get the next big contract.
You have to reset the market.
Quarterbacks, they reset the market. We knew where Jamar Chase had said it. So it was really just about clearing Jamar just a little bit. For anybody who doesn't understand, the salary cap went up this year.
Went
so
up
of
big
course,
time. So it needs to be reset.
So realistically, it's on par with what they're. It's not it's not an unreasonable contract.
No.
The payout here is really interesting, and when you look at sort of the most that a wide receiver has been paid in a single season, cash wise, JSN will be making the 4th most cash in a season ever by a wide receiver this season, and there is another signing that happened today that we're going to get to that kind of we're going to tack into this conversation. But the first thing I do kind of want to ask you is, here's the thing: if you go through and you look at all the wide receivers that have, in recent memory that have gotten the highest contracts, which is everybody, they always go up. So it's all recent. You look at Jamar Chase, you look at Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, DK Metcalf, T. Higgins. These dudes, something they have in common is that they have not gone on to win a Super Bowl.
No.
Jamar Chase played in one.
Yes.
But realistically, a wide receiver can only have so much of an impact on an NFL game. And so we're not pocket watchers here. Get your money. Always get your money.
I couldn't agree more. Always get your money.
Especially in the NFL where you never know what can happen.
You can break at any given moment.
Absolutely not me saying don't get your money. What I do think is there are very few teams that go back to a Super Bowl ever after setting a record-breaking contract at a non-quarterback position. How do you feel about how much of an impact can a wide receiver have, and are they worth this much money? Because to me, when you pay a receiver like this, you got to bring them into a ready team, a team to run it back.
Well, good news. They're very ready to run it back. I mean, I can't imagine they're not. They're a team right now that we're not talking about at all. And it's quite fascinating that we're not talking about.
Because they just won the Super Bowl.
They just won the goddamn Super Bowl, yet everything right now is all Rams and 49ers. And I understand why. The Rams are, on paper, a devastating
team. The 49ers have really put an offseason together.
Really put in a lot. Yeah. That Mike Evans move alone is like, I get it.
They're making their push.
I get these sexy moves.
And getting back to the Super Bowl is hard.
It's very hard.
The Chiefs have made it look easy. The Eagles have, but it's not.
It's not, but I just want to point out, the Seattle Seahawks last year made it look easy. They made it look very easy, and they made the Super Bowl look easy.
Wow.
It's nothing against your team. I'm just saying.
They weren't particularly impressive in the Super Bowl, though, and against a team that had no offense, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Patriots defense was great. They played great all through the playoffs, but that was not a team that looked like it could have really they should have steamrolled that team.
Yeah, the only thing they've subtracted is Kenneth Walker III, of which you can make an argument, can't they? They're about to go into a draft right now. They'll probably just get them hands on another decent running back, maybe to replace him.
They're pretty good at getting running backs,
and
too.
Listen, I have no reason to not believe that this team can't get back at least some semblance deep into the playoffs, at least. Now, am I hoping for that? No. There's other teams I'd like to see move forward. But I think there is, and I've mentioned this to you before, a very specific bias against teams such as the Seattle Seahawks. And to me, it's not even demographics, it's not even city size. I just think it's location. There is something about the corners of our country that we just somehow out of sight, out of mind. Like, think about Florida teams. Mike Evans, arguably one of the best receivers of the last 20 years. Mike Evans, I feel like, has been somehow underrated over these years, because outside of the years Tom Brady was playing with them, we don't talk about Mike Evans. We don't talk about Tampa Bay. We barely even talk about Miami, except for when they suck.
Well, right, but Miami has sucked. That's why
we keep talking about them. But Seattle, we never talk about them. The Chargers, when they were in San Diego, we never talked about them.
We still don't talk about them.
Well, that's because now they've put themselves into even more obscurity. They moved to a city where no one likes them, wants them, or even acknowledge their existence. And again, we know what the Chargers are every January, so why do we even bother?
No, the Seahawks are not a sexy brand. But I will say, we did talk about them as if they were a premier brand during the Legion of Boom, during the Russell Wilson years. They were, so this is not specific to Seattle. Seattle does got the love when they were sort of teetering on a dynasty.
They were fun at that time too.
And they were playing Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. And here's the problem. They played an unknown young New England team with not a lot of name brand recognition, and
wrong.
Drake May, who is working on becoming a star but isn't quite there yet.
Agreed.
In terms of like superstardom, right?
Completely agree.
So it didn't help their cause. Like, had they gone out and played Patrick Mahomes, I guarantee you we'd be talking about the Seahawks differently, the way we did before.
You're
So
not wrong.
I'm going to say that I think that the Seahawks like have the capability of being a huge brand. Right now, there is like, you know, the Sam Darnold thing worked out really, really well, but Sam Darnold is not a like, he's not one of those guys that we're going to talk about regularly as a franchise quarterback, because he's not a franchise quarterback. Hopefully he is. I would love to see Sam Darnold play the next 10 years in Seattle and have him become that dude. But right now, you know, everybody wants to see if he can string 2 elite seasons together. One under his belt. He had a pretty elite season in Minnesota, but
I think he just did
he
have
blew.
2.
He was so awful in that last game against Detroit in the regular
I
season.
know,
And
but
then
still 14 wins is 14 wins in a season.
I'm just telling you,
2
man, it
years
was
in a
rough
row.
at the end. I was there. I was there. I was in it. One of my best friends was a Vikings fan. I was watching every game, and it got ugly. It got Sam Darnold. Now, last year that did not happen.
No.
But every time this happens, what I see is a roster that somehow ends up slipping up in a space where they really needed someone else. So if the Seahawks can pull it off, great. But I do think it's something to watch out for. Do I think that they shouldn't have paid JSN? No, I don't necessarily think that. I do think these are the pitfalls of why it's hard to get back to a Super Bowl, and why it is always there's a reason we talk about Howie Roseman the way we do. There's a reason we talk about Bill Belichick and the guy from the Chiefs whose name is gonna escape me right now. But it's because it's hard. And speaking of the Chiefs,
real quick, before we move
yeah.
to the Chiefs, I just had one question for you.
Yeah.
Was it surprised? The only thing that surprised me about the contract wasn't that he got the bag. It was actually when he got the bag. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, he was not he had another year on his deal, so they got it done a year early.
yeah, then they've been doing that, you know, getting them locked down a year early, because there is a level of like, you're playing chicken, you know, with is this guy going to want to come back with us? Because these guys are willing to move on to different teams now. It's not in the free agency era. You know, obviously free agency started the early 1990s. It was like 1992 or 4. In that era, for a long time, there was still a ton of brand loyalty and like team loyalty and fan loyalty and all that stuff. You know, you don't lock down JSN and you miss the playoffs next year, but he's elite, and Jerry Jones comes knocking, or, you know, the Eagles come knocking, or whoever, the Rams, God forbid.
Makes sense.
You know?
No, I agreed with the deal
Yeah.
taking place.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, there is something to being able to sign back with the team that drafted you, spending a long time with one team. I was with one organization for 7 years, but I was only in the big leagues with them for like a month of those 7 years.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to leave that organization. But then after that, I ended up playing for 7 organizations over the next 4 years, 5 years. And that's, the grass isn't always greener.
The grass is not always greener. And but try to tell a 24-year-old that, or however old JSN is. One person that appears to never want to leave where they started is Travis Kelce. I'm not super surprised that Travis Kelce's coming back. I am surprised at the way that the Chiefs have handled this entire thing. It's so odd. We're going to break it down a little bit. You know, don't freak out at the numbers right away, but the 36-year-old Travis Kelce, who will be 37 in October,
3 years.
signed for 3 years, $54.7 million to return to the Chiefs. Now, there is not a person on planet Earth who thinks Travis Kelce is going to play another 3 years.
I sure don't.
This is not an anti-Travis Kelce thing. It's not even that he had a bad season last year. He had a fairly impressive season for somebody who's 37 years old. He is one of a handful of tight ends who've ever played at that age, to that capacity as a regular starting tight end, along with Tony Gonzalez and Antonio Gates. Antonio Gates made it to 38. Tony Gonzalez made it to 37. Now, just to give you a little bit of context before you kind of weigh in on what you think about the contract and about what they're doing with Travis Kelce. Tony Gonzalez at 36 and 37 had 2 better seasons than Travis Kelce had in his year 36. More yards, more touchdowns. So it's just slightly above where Travis Kelce was at last year with the Chiefs. He signed for a 2-year, $14 million deal, I believe it was, for 2013-2014, retired after 1 year of that deal. Not a surprise. I think that, so if I recall this correctly, it was Ben Watson and Jason Witten. Both of them played till 36, 37. Nowhere near like starting tight end, everyday type tight end.
No,
money.
they were both. Witten especially was definitely past.
We're talking about 300-400 yards max. That is so what I'm saying is that if Travis Kelce is able to exceed 700 yards next year, that will be elite for somebody at his age.
Well, we've also seen Kelce used in a certain way. For instance, kind of like almost like how Gronk was like used towards the end of his career.
Yeah.
He's more of a safety blanket for a specific quarterback,
Which is totally fine.
Which
That's
makes
what they
sense
did
to me.
with that's what they did with Antonio Gates.
completely. And what you're going to see is you're going to see an uptick in his numbers late in the season, especially as they're making a playoff push. And then as the playoffs go around, he's going to be used way more, probably just to
Right.
protect him throughout the year, so he is ready at that go time.
So my whole thing is, what is the point of this deal is essentially to say we're willing to keep you around if you show some sort of, if he has some sort of massive bounce back year.
Yeah.
What happens is this is really a 1-year deal where they can opt into it next offseason sometime in the spring, and then they would owe him $40 million. And that would be guaranteed, which is wild, but whatever.
Yeah.
Seems unnecessary. The word on the street was that he was going to do a 1-year, $12 million deal. That seemed fine. You get the I'm Travis Kelce, I've got 3 rings with you, sort of $12 million deal when you're 37 years old. Pretty goddamn good. This feels very much like the Chiefs trying to me, grasp on to a past era of the team that they are terrified to let go of. I would like to know, before I fully get into my theory, what this looks like to you, because I have a theory, and it's not flattering to the Chiefs.
Okay, I'm listening. I would like to hear your theory, because for me, this deal does almost nothing for me. It's exactly what Gronk was to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when he went there to me.
Except Gronk wasn't making that kind of money.
No, he was not. But he's also a guy that brings in a ton of money to the organization.
Also, Gronk was better in the end zone.
He was. But listen, Travis Kelce, let's be real honest, man. Travis Kelce brings more to the organization right now
than
just football. Whether we want to admit it or not. He has a very popular podcast with his brother. He is marrying Taylor Swift.
There's that.
I'm sorry. Is this how you should be constructing your football team? Probably not. But if I'm a businessman, and all of these owners, and I want to make this abundantly clear, are businessmen first, sadly, I'd do it too. I would.
So here's the thing. That's kind of what I'm saying is this is a very unserious move.
Yeah.
It's a very unserious football move. Not, if you want to bring Travis Kelce back to be a rotational tight end, and you're going to limit his snaps, use him in huge situations, end of season situations, end of game situations, keep him in shape, keep him on the roster, keep him as a leader in the locker room. Fine. All those things are fine. Realistically, what you should have done is move on.
I agree with that.
Fully.
But it's not going to happen.
But it's not going to happen.
He's going to retire Chief.
And to me, I've said this before, there is a way the Chiefs are moving right now that makes me wonder if this window is closed, because this is just not what I'm not saying that I don't get it business wise. I'm talking about football.
I agree with that.
This is simply, you have to make hard decisions. You have to move on from players. You have to treat that salary cap like it is dead serious, because at some point you're going to have to make moves. You have no idea where Patrick Mahomes is going to be health wise to start the season. You've secured this great backup quarterback, and there is a lot to work with here. And I don't care if it's $12, $13 million. I don't care. You're tying yourself now to I simply feel like we've now waited a little bit too long to move on from Travis Kelce.
Possibly.
And you can see it happening. You always know when someone's just not letting go. And, people have accused other GMs of moving on too soon, but it's way better to move on too soon than too late. This is absolutely a way too late situation. If they are successful, it will not be because of Travis Kelce. It will be in spite of the fact that he's still on the roster. And that to me is unserious football decision making. It's unserious roster construction, and when I see unserious behavior from a team that very clearly is trying to make money with an owner that, by the way, is listen, all these owners are dubious.
They all suck.
The Hunts are
They're
they
brutal.
suck.
They
suck. So like, it's not, there are some owners that are just that suck slightly less. The Hunts are not one of them. They truly blow. So I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, okay, you're going to act a little unserious. I'm sorry. Like, you're not coming in. We don't even know what Patrick Mahomes is going to look like to start the season.
No, we don't. But you mentioned it. They did get a backup quarterback that I do think is a solid backup for this team.
Sure.
They did get Kenneth Walker III. And I'm not ready yet to go where you're at yet. I will if they really prove to be you're looking at them right now as a little more unserious.
Yeah.
I'm willing to get there when I see it. I'm not ready to get there yet because
what I'm telling you is it's here. There's no arguing that this is not an unserious move.
Well, listen.
This is an unserious move.
I
now,
see what you're saying.
You can say that you don't think it'll affect them. That's a different thing. You might say, but you cannot argue that there is nothing serious about this behavior. This is not the behavior of a team.
It's not necessarily that I think it's unserious or serious. It's more, I'm willing to give it a shot for one more year. That's for damn sure.
With Travis Kelce.
Yes. I'm willing to give one more shot for one more year. I am. Why wouldn't I? Now, does the move make me... Listen, I'm a fucking Raider fan. I want them to die, the Kansas City Chiefs.
No, I know this is not a rooting
No, I'm not
situation.
rooting for this at all. In fact, right now, this move doesn't give me any spider tingle whatsoever.
Yeah.
In fact, quite the opposite. The Raiders somehow are giving me great feelings about the future all of a sudden.
You big Mendoza guy?
Listen, it's something. It could be something.
Hey, absolutely good.
Could be something. And they went out and got the best center in football to protect him. Mm-hmm. Okay. And also to protect your running back that should be good in Ashton Genty. And they have Brock Bowers. And now Max Crosby's back and pissed. And I'm going like, that could be interesting. I don't think they're a playoff team, but I think they could get a semblance to 500 with their new head coach if he is as good as they keep telling me they are.
That's what everybody said about the Patriots last year. They ended up in the Super Bowl. So
you are right.
Yeah.
And maybe this is something like the Raiders are exciting me right now. The Kansas City Chiefs are not. But I've also felt this way about the Kansas City Chiefs before, and then they went back to another fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah, I've never seen them do something where I'm like, oh, I can tell you might not care about winning. This is the first time I've seen a move where I'm like, no GM in their right mind, Brett Veach, that's his name.
Yes.
No GM in their right mind is making this deal to try to, and we're gonna circumvent the salary cap, and it's gonna be 3 years, but it's really only one, and blah blah blah. This is not Tom Brady at the end with the Patriots. This is a guy who's very clearly past his prime. Still had, by the way, an amazing season. I think he should keep playing. Like, I actually don't think I think he could play 1, maybe 2 more years as a rotational tight end, as somebody who can be really important situationally in certain packages. Like, there are ways to, especially at the tight end position, to really utilize a very talented, still impactful player like Travis Kelce without paying them starting tight end money. And so I would have loved to see them move on from Travis Kelce and let him go to a place that really needed somebody like Travis Kelce in their rotation. I'm not even saying that he shouldn't be playing football. This is a team that needs like a starting tight end and how are you going to get starting tight end numbers from somebody like Travis Kelce at his age and stage, unless they are going to bring in, 2-3 other tight ends and start running sets like there's Sean McVay, which is not going to happen because that's not what the Chiefs offense does. So I'm on the side of, I'm side-eyeing the fuck out of the Chiefs right now because of this move. Not because I think Travis Kelce can't play football anymore, but because he should not be making like top, like, hey, we're going to make it one more ride with this guy as our starting tight end. He can't do it. He can't carry the load. Pay him less or send him somewhere else.
It's fair. It is fair. All right, let's get over to headline number 2, getting away from the NFL. Thank God. Let's talk about something that's very near and dear to my heart. My Lakers, baby. Headline number 2. Luka Doncic is out of control right now, playing out of his goddamn mind. And I got to say, with 10, 12 games left in the season, it's even me, who firmly had SGA and the gambling odds strictly say, by far,
it's not even close.
It's not even a matchup. Bullshit.
But are we sure?
What
Are we
Luke
sure
is doing
SGA is the MVP?
What Luka's doing right now, and I know this is a 9-game run, but I forget about the 9-game run that they're 9-0, by the way.
Yeah.
He's been monstrous all season long, but these 9 games.
Also,
for
down
Luka,
the stretch, since I thought we appreciated clutch performances.
What
you know?
Luka's doing right now is, dude, the guy is so good.
Well, let's talk a little bit about what he's doing. Let's give the people what they want. So Luka in the last 9 games. I just moved that. Sorry about that. He is the first player in NBA history to score 30 plus and win in 9 straight games, which sounds fake. Score 30 or more points, win straight 9 games. No one's ever done it.
Yeah.
That is not that's not one of those like ticky-tack, like goofy stats. That's insane. That's a really big achievement that nobody's ever done that. There is definitely some flaws in the fact that Luka Doncic doesn't play particularly good defense.
He does not.
We understand this. Lots of, by the way, MVPs have not. So let's not act like all of a sudden the MVP, you have to play defense, because there are a lot of MVPs who have not. The other thing is that Luka is currently leading the league in points per game.
Yes.
Like,
he's so good.
He's leading the league in points per game, and the Lakers are 3rd in the West, and the Western Conference is
a
easily
juggernaut.
It's so much better than the East right now. To be 3rd behind the Thunder and the Spurs, a little bit significantly, but certainly they have a solid clutch on 3rd place.
Big time.
It is because of the way Luka Doncic and the supporting cast have been playing, but he's been leading the charge. Really nice to have LeBron. I'm not going to act like that's not, but like to have LeBron as a role player on a superstar team, love to see it.
Yeah.
But this is like, I don't recall seeing a stretch like this from a player on a team like the Lakers not being in a bigger like the odds are kind of blowing my mind a little bit. I feel like people are so terrified to like let their clutch on SGA as the MVP go, but if you're going, we always have this conversation every single year. I don't know what most valuable player means to you specifically. Sometimes, I'm going to be honest, it changes for me from year to year.
Well, it does, because it's
right?
subjective on purpose. It's vague on purpose.
Right. So sometimes different seasons, it's like, hey, the conversation is different. I think there's an excellent case for both SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Luka Doncic. My thing is that it just feels like when you have a team like the Lakers who have been struggling to make it back to where they're at right now, you're leading the league in scoring. You're leading the NBA history in scoring and incredibly necessary wins, and you're not on a kind of perfectly constructed juggernaut team that just won a title. I'm thinking that's pretty fucking valuable.
I agree. I know. I completely agree. Not to mention that. Can we talk about this real quick? Because you know what the narrative was not roughly, 9 games ago. Well, this 3-headed monster just can't play together. You can't have Austin Reeves. You can't have LeBron and Luka in the same court. And I kept thinking, okay, yeah, I see that the numbers absolutely suggest this. Not just suggest it, it does scream it. I will freely admit it at the time. But that was the sample size of those 3 players playing together for 9 games this year. You're telling me, and I think I've used this direct quote to you in the past, I'm going to do it again.
I'll let you know.
I don't give a shit because it's a good point.
Okay.
You're telling me LeBron James can't figure out how to play with Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic. You were taking
I'm pretty
crazy
sure LeBron
pills.
James could get. I think he could get me to 30 points in an NBA.
Pretty sure LeBron will figure it out. Oh wow, he did. The Lakers look unstoppable.
And it looks like he's 6th man of the year somehow.
It's unreal. And he's playing out of his mind too. And by the way, we were talking about Lakers can't play defense. Yeah, we can. It's just unfortunate that our best defensive player is 41 years old.
And he's doing 2012 LeBron shit, chasing down and
it's fucking
blocking
nuts.
Shots and shit, falling all over the court.
I love it, dude.
He
Fucking
really, that man loves basketball, and I will never take for granted the fact that we're watching him still play basketball this way.
Can I say something I've adamantly been against for a little bit?
Sure.
If this is what you're going to give me, LeBron, come back. Come back next year.
Okay,
I'll take some more LeBron with this. I firmly have always said I didn't like the LeBron Lakers. Never felt like the Laker team. Always just felt like LeBron business deal.
It was. You're not fully wrong. I understand.
Okay. So
I
it
get
just
it.
something about it just didn't seem right to me.
Well,
but
you were only how many years away from the Kobe era, which felt
Yes.
very organic, and
and listen, it didn't mean I didn't appreciate LeBron. He brought another
Brought a title
here.
Yeah.
Whether you want to talk about its
He works
validity or
great
not.
with AD, by the way,
Yeah.
who we wanted there. It
Like
worked out.
I can't stress enough. I appreciate it, but I've never really liked the LeBron Lakers thing.
Okay. Until
these
winning.
last 9 fucking games.
Until we got Luka Doncic and started winning.
You're telling me we can do this?
Yeah.
Fuck yes, I want more of this.
Well, that's interesting because I feel like part of what I've been seeing in this stretch is like, I think this is awesome. I love seeing it. I think it could really work out. Like this, I do believe this Lakers team is poised to like upset some teams, make it further in the playoffs than I ever would have thought.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there's a very good argument to be made that LeBron has no intention of leaving Los Angeles. He's got his brand. He's got his whole deal.
He's making
like,
so
blah,
much
blah.
money off the court.
I also know LeBron gets bored. Like there's something about LeBron that he just like when he's not getting enough attention or he's not the center of attention anymore. And so what I do think could listen, this is Luka's team now. It's going to be Luka's team for the next, 10 years at least.
Mm-hmm.
He's only 25, 26 years old. I mean, it's ridiculous.
And if his wife leaves him again, I mean, he's only going to lose more weight and get in better shape.
Exactly. So like, this is Luka's team now. And that's very clear.
Mm-hmm.
It just is.
Yeah.
LeBron's still the biggest star.
Yeah.
Because LeBron will be the biggest star wherever he goes. But I think you and I can at the very least, both agree that there's something in in the back of his head, that little, or the devil and the angel on the show, the angel's like, it's great business to stay in LA. We love it here, blah, blah. And there's a little devil.
You're not the man anymore.
There's a little devil on his shoulder that's like, hey, if you're going to be a sixth man and you're going to be 42 years old, what if you went to the Celtics? What if you went to, because, don't ask me. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that LeBron isn't like you could tell me. Tell me that would be crazy to you.
It's not that it's crazy. It's just, it's not an upgrade.
The Celtics are an upgrade.
No.
Yes,
no,
they
it's
are.
not. And I'll tell you why it's not an upgrade. The Lakers are, I'm not saying that the Celtics are not an incredible, established, phenomenal brand.
They have more titles.
Cool. They're not the Lakers. The Lakers are. They're not. They are not.
They're the better team. They're the,
no. They are definitely. No. Make no mistake.
Yeah.
They're the better team.
But he doesn't have to. All he has to do is go there for 1 year.
Why?
Because he's LeBron and needs the attention.
LeBron goes to Boston. He's going to cut out his net worth in that particular year by $100 million.
How?
Because all his shit is in L. He's not a Laker because the Lakers are paying him, Tanya. You know this.
They are.
No, but it's not why he's here.
Listen.
He's here so his production company fucking does a shit ton.
It doesn't have to.
It is.
It doesn't have to be the Celtics.
His son's on the team.
It could be
his other son's in the area.
His son being on the team that's a complicating factor.
I agree.
The reality is the team
going.
that people think that he might go to if he leaves is the Warriors. People have said the Mavericks. I don't see either of those teams either. So it's not like, just retire a Laker and be okay with the fact that it's Luka's team and now you're a role player on it.
He seems like he's having a good fucking time right now.
I just know that there is whether he ever does it or admits it, I know there's a little devil on his shoulder.
I know for a fact there is.
No
question.
That's like, what if you just go win a ring with Jason Tatum? What if you go win a ring with Tyrese Halliburton for no fucking reason?
Fucking knock it off.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. LeBron's gonna wake up tomorrow and be like, you know what?
I need to be a Pacer.
I really want to go to Indiana.
I don't think you understand how much I actually think I don't think he will do it. I do think that there's a time sometimes when he's laying in bed where he thinks about it.
Oh, I definitely think he thinks about it. No, you're right about that. I just don't think there's any universe he doesn't.
No, I also think there's too many people in his camp making a lot of money who are like, no, we're not going to Indiana.
You're telling me Rich Paul's going to be like, okay, yeah, let's go to Indianapolis?
Yeah.
Fuck off.
No. He's
no.
like,
he'd make him go to the Clippers before he went to Indianapolis just to keep him in the city.
Oh, my God. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, no, just stay. Just stay where you are.
Ballmer's got $84 billion. Just put it in. Like, I will give you $1 billion.
That's funny, though.
In 10 years.
Listen, I don't think he's going to the Celtics. I do think it would be very funny though.
Oh, I definitely think it would be fucking hilarious.
That would be great.
I know we got to move on to the next subject. But before we do,
oh yes,
can I talk to you about Luka real quick?
Yes, actually, you know what? Let me
Yeah. There's some rumors going around about Luka.
All right, so there's some rumors about Luka that you've heard. So this is kind of some tea that you're spilling right now.
I've been hearing some rumors, and those of you that don't know me, I'm born and raised in Santa Monica, California. I've worked.
Why are you whispering?
My voice is a little fucked up.
Okay.
I can't speak in certain octaves today.
Okay.
Because I've been coughing. I've been having
so
allergies
it's
like crazy.
This is not on purpose.
No, this is just how my voice is today. I've worked in the restaurant industry and the bar industry for years in the off seasons.
Sure.
And I ran trivia nights, and I've got a lot of friends, a lot of owners in the area, and a lot of cool, nice and not nice restaurants.
Sure.
Since Luka has come here, I happen to know what town he is, often frequently. I know what restaurants he's going to because I know the people that work there.
You have the inside scoop.
I know the owners of the places. I know
Okay.
the GMs of the places, and it's multiple places. It's not just one place, and it's not. I'm hearing this from one person. I'm hearing about like 3 people.
Okay.
He's getting himself a little reputation in Los Angeles right now, and when I say Los Angeles, specifically the area that he's going to, for. Are you aware of Scottie Pippen's nickname?
I think I am, but I think you should,
Scottie Pippen was very well known, especially in Vegas, as No Tippin' Pippen. Apparently, our guy Luka, who doesn't seem like the nicest guy in the world, but who cares?
He doesn't seem like the worst either.
Doesn't seem like the worst guy either. Slow down.
I'm saying like
I'm a full-on fan of the guy.
no, but what I'm saying is like he doesn't come across. He just sort of comes across as European.
Yes.
I don't know.
And again, this guy, his whole life has been adored. Like he was a
he was,
superstar
like,
at
15.
13 years
Yeah,
old. Like,
yeah.
listen, your mind is kind of wired a little different when that happens. That being said, you're on a huge deal. You are the face of the Los Angeles Lakers. This is your team for the next 10 plus years. You have a lot of money. You might want to pay. You might want to tip a little bit.
So he's a bad tipper.
The rumor is not only is he a bad tipper, he's less than 20% tipper. And it's not like Luka just walks in.
By the way, as a celebrity, 20% is like spitting in someone's face. Like if you are rich, you don't tip 20%. You tip 30 on a tough day.
Yes, on a bad day.
Yeah, in Los Angeles,
bad service, you're given 30%.
When you're worth like $100 million, you tip 30%.
It's an industry town, and everybody that works in this industry used to work in the bar industry or the restaurant industry. And by the way, all those bartenders and servers right now, I'd say like 5 to 10% of them will get solid and famous work as time goes forward.
Right.
That's what they all do. Everyone, it's like paying your dues here in Los Angeles. Luka has been going to places, and Luka doesn't just walk into places and be like, "Oh, I'm just going to go sit at the bar." No. Luka calls ahead. He's got a whole security team that calls ahead.
He's got an entourage.
Sets the place up for him, and he goes in there. All of these things, you should be tipping 50%. The rumor is he is not tipping well, and he's kind of a dick, which that I can understand. You're Luka Doncic, you're probably kind of a dick.
I don't know. I would actually appreciate that he just do one or the other. If you're going to tip poorly, you can't be a dick. And if you're going to be a dick, you have to tip well. But you can't do both.
Take the advice from my Uncle Jay Cohen, who is no longer with us, who was an absolute fucking monster to waiters, waitresses, and bartenders. But you know what he did? And this is why I loved him. And this is why those bartenders that took his abuse also loved him. Because he would always order the same drink. It was my favorite thing he would always do. He would sit down and he's like, Belvedere, no rocks, no fruit, no straw on the rocks. And the person starts to walk away, you grab their arm and bring him back. Oof. No fruit, no straw. I want to taste my vodka, and with the straw, I will only hurt myself. He's like, and they start to walk away. He's like, I'm an asshole, but I'm going to pay you so well for it. And he did.
That is insane. That's actually insane to be like, I actually can't regulate enough to be nice to you in this moment. What I can do is promise you that I'm going to pay you.
And he did.
That is so fucking funny.
I loved this.
Listen, I would have loved it as somebody who's also been a waitress. Like, I would have been like, you know what? Fuck it. Now, grab my arm. I would have looked at him and been like, that's fine. Be an asshole. Grab my arm again.
You're gonna die.
Yeah.
But
you will regret that part. Also, I will take the tip.
Yeah, but
for the arm
there was one time where after he gave the
Yeah.
speech, the person did put it in front of him and it had a straw in it. He just looked at him, He looks at me, nephew. I grabbed the straw. He's like, your tip just went down like $10.
Now, was this man autistic by any chance?
No, he's just an asshole. but he was our
picky,
asshole.
A little picky.
Yeah, no, we loved him. Like I got so many great.
funny.
I got so many great.
No,
Uncle Jay
that
stories.
is very iconic. And it's Luka being a bad tipper. That's gonna at some point it's gonna change.
It's all allegedly, but Luka, that's
I don't know.
what you're doing,
it seems
man.
pretty. I have at least if you're going to be a bad tipper, be a superstar on the Lakers, be an MVP contender, because
You better win a title.
Word on the street from my sources in Boston is that the bad tipper on the Celtics is Peyton Pritchard.
That pisses me off so much.
Which is like, listen, Peyton Pritchard, I appreciate the game he has. They would not have won a title without him, but like, he is not. You're not Jason Tatum. You're not Jaylen Brown.
Peyton, what are you doing?
Know your role.
What are you doing? You're
Yeah.
Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah. So
Tip big. You should be taking 60%.
that's what I'm saying. Like, you come on. Like, you don't have that kind of cachet. At least Luka's a star.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get away from the no tipping Pippen and Luka, and let's get over to March Madness, ladies and gentlemen. Rick Pitino, love him or hate him. Headline number 3.
Rick
He's done
Pitino. Yeah.
He's done it.
He's done it. He's in the Sweet 16 for the first time since 1999. The St. John's has made the Sweet 16. Now, he's made it plenty of times, but he's taken St. John's for the first time in 27 years. This is classic Pitino. Whether you love him or you hate him, this man
He wins.
knows how to get players
Just does.
to these tournaments. And like, for St. John's to have made it this far for the first time in 27 years, it's another notch on his resume. I am a Pitino fan. I realize there's scandal there. I realize there's stuff going on there. I can only hate so many diabolical white men at once. I'm just simply not prioritizing hating Rick Pitino. He's too Al Pacino for me. I love
funny.
Al Pacino. He's funny. His speeches are incredible.
They are.
He literally gave a like Any Given Sunday style speech to his team last year that went viral. There's like, just let me have problematic Italian men, like, just once in a while. Every once in a while, I need a very slick, problematic Italian man to allowed to be famous. And now, not only has he took down Bill Self, who's now questioning whether or not he wants to keep coaching.
Good.
And it was an epic. I don't know if you saw kind of his explanation for it, but this was a sort of drop a play, end of the game, buzzer beater layup.
Yeah, and if you
from
saw
a
the
nobody.
video of him, by the way, Rick Pitino like had no reaction.
Oh no, I saw the video. It's iconic. It's very Bill Belichick. Like, we did our jobs, let's go and then move on.
Yeah, punching in the clock.
Excellent work by Pitino. He was like, "Yep, we did our job." But it was a weird kind of final play where there was 14 seconds left, and Kansas clearly had a plan to foul. They could keep fouling without fouling because they weren't in the bonus of like having to get to foul shots yet, and they left like 3.4 seconds up, and the play drawn up was for a guy who had never done anything
It's
before.
hard. Listen, I'm finding it harder and harder not to root for Rick Pitino, and here's why. Because so many people are rooting against him. He's like,
Are people are they?
there are still
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
anti-Rick Pitino people out there, and listen, if you have an issue with them, okay, but I'm actually very much with
We have
you
so
on
few
this.
icons left, you know?
I'm with you on this one, and listen, if you know what's funny, actually, it reminds me of something that you put on Threads today, and I really liked it. I think I liked your post. Somebody posted out about Kim Mulkey and said, how can you hate Kim Mulkey for how her players love her? And you responded, it's actually quite easy. Yeah, it's quite easy. Can't stress it enough.
I said, it's easy. Watch this. I hate her.
Yeah, it's not hard at all to
Yeah.
dislike Kim Mulkey.
Yeah.
Rick Pitino brings that same kind of anger
Yeah.
out of people the way Kim Mulkey does. Although I hate Kim Mulkey, I really enjoy Rick Pitino.
No,
I don't
I mean,
know.
yeah,
I don't
there's-
think I'm right for this. It's just what is.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is Rick Pitino's scandals have never been like, oh, I'm like refusing to speak on behalf of a player who gave me a full college career and titles
Yeah.
while they're
Literally
imprisoned in
made
Russia.
me.
Yeah, like I'm not telling a bunch of people to be okay with being sexually assaulted.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, as bad as Rick Pitino's been, like, it's like there is a betrayal toward her own players in the past that like he just kind of hasn't really involved himself
Rick,
with. So,
seemingly players that have played for him
people
seem
don't
to
come out
love
and say
him.
they didn't like Rick Pitino. That's not, that's one thing is like players love playing for him. And, as far as the play against Kansas, they said, so according to Sports Reference's database, the player Darling, who scored the game-winning field goal, he's the only player in NCAA tournament history to score his first points of the game on a buzzer beater. And like, this is in the history of March Madness. He was, he trusted his guy, this guy who hadn't scored.
It was pretty cool.
He was nobody. But it was perfectly constructed because it was like what you do in that moment, if you're Rick Pitino, is you say, who are they not going to defend? Who are they not going to look out for? And I just love those little moments where you can. Exactly.
Full circle, baby.
I just love those moments where you can see somebody's basketball acumen. You're watching two people who are very, like, between him and Bill Self, these are two, people who are tacticians. They're figuring out what to do. And I would have always given Pitino the tactician edge there. Kansas, his players kind of misplayed it. They didn't fully execute the way he wanted them to. Pitino's did. I just love seeing this battle of old school coaches,
like stalwarts. Yeah,
exactly. And the thing about, we know Bill Self has been in Kansas forever, but just to go over some of Pitino's kind of legendaries, he is the only coach in NCAA history to lead 6 different programs to the tournament: Boston University, Providence, Kentucky, Louisville, Iona, and St. John's. That's just insane. We are watching a legend at work. And what I hate about sports media sometimes is that we forget to remember that we're watching something special. Like, we'll be like, oh, March Madness, it's amazing. But we'll get caught up in hating Rick Pitino, or we'll get caught up in the whatever. What we're watching is one of those things we're going to look back and be like, man, do you remember that? I miss those Pitino days.
I agree.
We're in the Patino days.
We are.
Let's not let them go to waste. And whether you hate him or you love him, it's actually fun to hate people too.
I agree.
God, I love hating people.
You know what's funny?
I love hating people.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because we were talking earlier about the Seattle Seahawks, right? Mm-hmm. And we're talking about how they kind of bulldozed their way through the playoffs despite the fact. And I went into that playoffs really excited about the NFL playoffs because, like, oh my God, it's the first time we don't have a villain. It's like a new thing. And by the time we got to the Super Bowl, I'm like, fuck, I really could use a villain right now.
Yeah.
Because you can't convince me that this young Patriots team's the villain.
Yeah, because it was like, oh, well, they're not the villain and they're not good.
No, it felt like I'm like, these are two boring teams, and I don't want boring.
People suddenly were like, where's Patrick Mahomes? Where's Bill Belichick? Where's Mike Shanahan? Can someone give me something,
Give me someone that I don't like.
And so sometimes a villain is excellent. I happen to like this villain. There are villains I hate. Like, there are certain sort of archetypes that bring us all together. And now he's gonna play Duke in the next round. Mm-hmm. He's already said he's trying to avenge 34 years later the Christian Laettner shot. Okay. That took them
I know it's a famous thing, but
it's a famous.
Come on, it's Duke versus St. John's. You bet your ass I'm rooting for St. John's.
Of course.
Come on.
Yeah, no, it's rooting for. Well, that's the thing is like, so you're telling me you're rooting against Rick Pitino? Because if that means unless you went to Duke, you better be rooting for Rick Pitino.
Yeah.
So, and also the St. John's kids are fucking awesome, by the way. We've talked a lot about him, but like his players are great. They're super likable. And they're not Duke. Because like, fuck Duke.
It's wild. How St. John's, they must have so much NIL money, right? Like through the roof NIL money. Like, are they spending so much money? Like,
they
do
actually have.
I know they have NIL money, but like, do they need like $5 million more?
You know what? We should look up how much NIL money St. John's got.
That's interesting because I really would like to know how much NIL money because I've heard recently that if someone doesn't get an extra $5 million, they just simply can't compete.
Now, Dana, did you want to say where you heard this or?
Oh yeah, Mick Cronin. For fuck's sake, because Los Angeles there's no money and UCLA is not a storied franchise and apparently you're not getting any NIL money, which is bullshit, by the way. If it was tiered to elite, high, and medium, you're in the high bracket at UCLA, not the elite bracket, I'll give you that, which would be around $8 million, but you're getting anywhere between $4 to $6 million for your NIL. So it sounds to me, with Michigan stealing one of your best players from the previous years and spending less money in NIL this year, sounds like you just a shit GM, but what do I know?
And honestly, I think you know a lot. Because, like, I would talk about this. I agree with you. Like, I'm so tired of these motherfuckers complaining about NIL money.
Cry
I'm
me a
so
river.
tired.
You're
You're telling me that Rick Pitino had a bigger edge than you, Mick Cronin, because he went to St. John's? Like, go fucking fuck off.
Your UCLA. I'll tell you what my UCLA baseball
Also,
coach,
if they're getting NIL money, it's because he's Rick Pitino. So
Yes.
maybe why don't you start winning something, Mick?
Yeah.
So that you can get NIL money.
I don't know, Mick. You've been riding high on that one Final Four you got into for the last 5 years. Fucking do something with it. It's driving me nuts.
Well,
and also people in the media echoing it. Like, listen, Colin Cowherd, I actually like your work, and I like Colin. I've only met him like once or twice, but I've always liked him.
Everybody knows I love Colin, and I talk shit about him.
But watching Colin like just gobble up everything he said last night drove me nuts. Going, well, it's a public school. It's UCLA. They're in Bel Air.
Yeah, they're fine. The public school thing is a joke. So according
Texas
to this,
is a public school.
My sources, aka Google, says that they are a top 20 national spender in NIL, estimated to exceed was around 10 million.
Okay, so they're spending roughly $4 million more than UCLA.
Which is,
what?
By the way, because he's Rick Pitino and you're Mick
Cronin.
So either be not Mick Cronin or work with what you have until you can do that. Because like I told you when we were talking about this, off camera before we were starting up, the reality is let's take NIL off the table. Guess who recruits better? Rick Pitino.
No question.
So fuck off.
People want to play for him.
He'd have a better team than you purely without NIL. So this NIL should be evening things for you, Mick. Not the other, without it, by the way, you're not recruiting away his players to go play for you at UCLA when you've proven shit. So enough. I completely agree.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting. I am so tired of Colin writing for these dudes he becomes friends with in Los Angeles, and it's like, brother.
A part of me gets it, but a part of me.
But the thing is, let's say I took that approach, I would never say anything about Colin because I like Colin.
You're right.
I
like
worked with
Colin
him for a long time.
But
I respect him, and I think he's good at his job.
So do I.
I also think that there are times where it's appropriate to criticize someone you like and have worked with. I don't understand why it's so hard to do. Oh, so at least we're keeping our cool. We just got so mad about something that we were actually excited about. We love Rick Pitino. We're excited for the Duke game. That's Friday.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun.
So,
all right, let's get on to something a little more.
Oh, allow me, because I was supposed to be at this game. We already talked about it.
I want to just a really quick say.
Okay.
I hate everything about this.
So do I. You
Fucking
and I are not having
everything.
fun with this. Okay, this is we're doing this against our will, purely to get it off our chest that we don't like this. So, Tom Brady and Logan Paul are continuing to have this weird kayfabe beef that they started a month back or so or whatever it is around that Super Bowl era time, and it led into the flag football game that Logan Paul was playing in, which again, because he's friends with Tom Brady, let's not forget that they are friends. Tom Brady is now friends with Logan Paul, but they're pretending that they're not. They had a whole kayfabe, faked, heated moment at the flag football game that went viral. Oh my God, Brady's yelling at him, he's pushing him, blah, blah, blah. So there's this whole thing going on. Everybody is assuming, because we're not morons, by the way, Cody and I aren't breaking news here by saying that this is clearly manufactured. Everybody's assuming this is leading to something WWE related. Number one, so that's the first part of this. So let's start there. Is this going to lead to a WWE thing?
Yes.
Okay. No doubts.
This was always leading to a WWE thing.
So second part, NFL and Fox seem to be increasingly comfortable with by the way, the face of the NFL. This is the most decorated NFL player of all time. This is your GOAT. This is your A-team broadcaster and a minority owner in your league, looking like the pawn of a despised YouTube kid who was promoted by Triple H. They're comfortable with that crossover.
God, I didn't realize how much I fucking hated Triple H till this last year.
Right?
Used to be a defender of his. That's on me. I shouldn't.
No, it's not on you because everybody saw when Vince McMahon moved on that he had that WWE had this uptick. They were really kind of putting stuff together. They had Bad Bunny. They were like moving in a very cool direction. They were going to Puerto Rico. They had that incredible Europe series.
You know, I should have known the moment the TKO thing happened. The moment that conglomerate was created.
Well, that was the beginning and the end.
I should have fucking known. I honestly, I'll go back before that. The moment Nick Khan got involved is what I should have fucking known.
When was that?
Like shortly before that.
Was it? No, it was longer than that.
I mean, it was like a year before that.
I could have sworn Nick Khan had been involved this whole time.
I don't know. Maybe you're right. But the moment I guess I realized
you're
Nick
right.
Khan, I should have fucking known.
I would agree on the TKO thing.
TKO thing was the end. That was the full-on end of it. Honestly, that was the end of that and the UFC all in one fell swoop. Like, I honestly think both of these companies signed off their death warrants, and they don't know it.
And UFC, to me, has been trash. It's had a trash product for longer than even the WWE. The WWE, that they have they have incredible talent that they are choosing to waste in these ways, right? There's like this Logan Paul thing is like, it makes all the sense in the world, by the way, for WWE. Sure. WWE gets to bring in Tom Brady. What I'm thinking, so
this is not going to go as good as they think the wrestling.
No,
this is not. Wrestling fans are going to hate this.
No, by the way, hold on. Wrestling fans might hate it. NFL fans hate it more, and that is what is fascinating. Is nobody likes it, but it is better for the WWE for ratings because WWE fans hate watch. They fucking hate watch. They do. They hate watch every time. They will go on there just because God forbid, they not be able to tweet. So they will watch. What I think is really fascinating is that WWE has everything to gain and NFL has everything to lose from this. Like it waters down Tom Brady's brand, his mythos, his legend, his legacy.
I think he's already done that.
Well,
I think he's in the midst of doing it daily. It's fucking wild to watch.
What do you mean?
Every
you have
day.
to name other shit though.
No, I'm sure the fucking sad Brady on Instagram as a fucking divorced dad is fucking wild.
No, but that's not like what. But that's like the kind of stuff that these dudes do now. That's not watering down his like legend as an NFL player. I mean, LeBron's been a goof on the internet forever. You can be a goof. In fact, people love it. They kind of find it relatable. But this shit, dude, like, come on, you're gonna beef with a 31-year-old YouTube star. Like,
I did enjoy watching Saquon Barkley make Logan Paul look like the worst fucking athlete in the world after Logan Paul fucking claimed what an athlete. You're not a fucking athlete.
Well,
you're a dude that's hopped up on a shit ton of fucking gear is what you are. That's all you are, you dumb fuck.
He's so roided out, dude.
Like, you're just a roided out little bitch. I'm so tired of you roided out little bitches. I don't.
And it's so weird that Tom Brady's tactic has been like, well, you don't understand how like incredible NFL players are and how incredible athletes are and blah, blah, blah. Like,
they're actual athletes.
And then, but it's like, but this is an angle now.
Yes,
so
it was always an angle.
Right. No, but what I'm saying is it's an angle now. So like, you're actually like throwing the NFL players under the bus by using their athleticism and their commitment to the game as a fucking pawn in your fucking WWE game. This is pathetic.
It's
like,
gross.
You do realize that like before this was like Donald Trump doing this shit, right?
Yes.
Like Tom.
Shit's gross.
Why are you so... Did Giselle divorcing you really fuck your fucking head up that bad?
Yes, it did.
It really did.
He is... Well, let's be real clear. Are we pretending this guy was always sane?
No, I never thought he was sane. And that's the thing is like, but he had a way to channel it. And that's why every time somebody tells me that like, oh, Tom Brady is the one who carried the fucking dynasty, I'm like, have you seen how Tom Brady acts when he's not with dad telling him what to do every day? Because he's a maniac. He's an idiot. He's an airhead. He's an absolute football savant. He is incredible at talking about football. And I think that like truly he's gotten so much better in that space. And he's clearly one of the greatest football players we've ever seen.
No question.
But by the way, this airhead needed Bill Belichick more than anybody might have needed Bill Belichick in the history of needing Bill Belichick. So the more stupid shit he does, the more I'm like, you know what? If I were Bill, I'd be sitting back fucking laughing. Because this is exactly what people saw, by the way, who actually covered the team for a long time, which is that Brady craved this structure. When he does not have daddy to tell him what to do, he's out there looking for attention. And that's why, by the way, he got better at football once he was married to Giselle. Guess what happened when he divorced Giselle? He retired and turned into retirement Tom, which is what we're seeing right now. Like, some people simply need a wife or a dad, and he's got neither.
Yeah.
Well, he has a dad. He loves his dad, but his dad is very sweet and doesn't give. His dad's actually like the sweetest man alive and loves him so much. And I should say he needs a work dad.
No, he needs a
daddy.
boss. Is
Yes,
what he needs.
He needs a work daddy who tells him what to do. Mr. Tom Brady Sr. is a sweet man who loves his son very much. Would never say that he didn't, but he needs a work dad.
I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I don't think there's a grosser company in the United States right now than TKO.
Except for UFC.
No, TKO is under UFC.
They're owned by UFC, or UFC is owned by them?
It's the same company. UFC and WWE is the same company with
TKO owns UFC.
I believe so.
Or runs UFC.
Runs UFC along with WWE. It's a joint venture. I think they're the grossest company in
not
in America.
If it's
the
both
world.
of them,
yes.
then yeah, you're right.
These are two, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. If you disagree, you're lying to yourself. These are two.
I mean, like Palantir might be worse.
Yeah,
but
I want to make it abundantly clear though. These are not right-wing companies. These are hard right companies. Period. Stop. These are the most now political companies in all of sports, including fucking NFL, Major League Baseball, and all combined.
People constantly give us shit, me shit personally, at least, for like talking about the NFL, whatever else. Like, hey, the NFL does actually allow you to in some way, shape, or form be politically divergent. Now, by nature, billionaires tend to not be, but there are a few that do diverge. There is nothing about the WWE or UFC that diverges from that anymore.
I noticed that CM Punk doesn't seem to fucking have any causes that he gives a fuck about anymore.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They've all sort of settled down.
Amazing how quiet you were.
But I will
Very,
say,
dare I say, not punk of you, huh, Phil?
But I will say, part of me feels like a little bit like with everything becoming so consolidated media-wise, you have like very few options. And we understand this as people in sports media. You have very few options for your career at some point if you want to keep your career to work for anybody but certain companies, right? Now, CM Punk needs a WWE contract. Like, I need, another fucking, tank top.
Yes.
Like, he's fine.
Yeah, he's fine.
He could just retire. So I'm not saying that Punk himself or somebody like that needs to be working for the WWE, but there are other people who've worked their entire lives to end up in an industry that's been co-opted by fascists. And what do you fucking do? You go to Japan, you're away from your family. What if you're from Idaho? What do you, like, there are major sacrifices.
You go to AEW, which is not better.
Exactly. So like, I feel for a lot of these people who get told like, oh, you work for this bullshit company. Well, you know what? I wake up every day and talk about the NFL. And then I spend a lot of time trying to holding it to account. But so I'm not standing, what I want to say is I'm not standing on a principle of like, we're so much better than people who watch wrestling or whatever else.
No, I don't think that at all.
I will say I think that they're the worst of the worst right now. But like, I'm never going to stop covering and talking about and quite honestly consuming the sports and the content of leagues that are also pretty problematic.
Oh, they are.
What I am going to do is keep holding them to account in the role that I can.
Agreed.
I don't think WWE and UFC media have people who are doing that.
Well,
and it makes it so much less palatable. It's not on the fans and it's not even quite on the talent as much as I am just waiting for anybody in that space to actually talk about what goes on in those fucking companies.
Would be nice. Would be real nice. But that being said, I agree with you. But that's why I don't consider WWE or UFC in the ilk of professional sports. I don't think either of them are professional sports. One is seriously, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, and this is not a knock on WWE or wrestling in general. It's not a fucking sport. Wrestling is combat-based morality tales storytelling. And I do very much appreciate the art of wrestling. That's what it is. It's an art form. It's a storytelling art form.
Listen, they call chess a sport. So like,
chess is a game. It's a board game.
I watched a whole video the other day that referred to chess as a sport, and they never questioned one time them calling it a sport. And I was like,
then they need somebody in the room with a fucking
So if you're
sense.
mad about WWE being called a sport,
I'm mad about all of them.
chess
Are they
is
athletic? And that's the other thing about
there's
Logan.
athletes doing it, but
They
that
are
doesn't make
athletes.
it a sport.
It
Yes.
does not make it a sport.
Yeah.
They are athletes doing it. But that's why the Logan Pauls of the world drive me not even drive me nuts. I try to not even pay attention to them, but now they've gotten all these other people fucking
If you can
worked up.
steroid your way to a career in something, you are either Barry Bonds, great.
Slow down. He was an MVP
but-
multiple times before that.
No, but like that's what I'm saying is like you either better have been one of the greatest athletes already, or you're a WWE star. And that's the thing.
And by the way, I apologize for how I'm going to say this because this is going to come off rude, and I don't mean this rude because I actually do respect professional wrestlers. I think it's a very difficult business.
Yeah,
very difficult.
They can
business.
die doing it.
It's an extremely difficult task. Working in a ring, especially when you have to work in a ring and tell a story with somebody, say, that you don't trust or like.
I think some great actors were. Yeah,
there
absolutely.
are some acting that, like, there's a lot that I do respect in pro wrestling. What I don't respect is any wrestler that is going on and on about being a pro athlete, like, we don't know how hard it is. All of you are failed NFL players. Like, and by the way, when I say failed, you're not really failed. You gave your shot, it didn't work out. NFL's hard. The shit's hard. It gets whittled out. It's not because you weren't talented. It's because others are more.
You know why it's hard? I'll tell you why it's hard. Because they can't form a fucking union. I cannot hear these wrestlers. After, like, I understand that Hulk Hogan fucked everyone over. I get that. I've heard the lore. I understand.
Big time did it.
I understand.
Google it.
It's so bad, guys. Google.
Hulk Hogan was the worst of the worst.
Yeah, he made sure that like a generation of wrestlers were fucked.
Made sure he got paid. Amazing.
But like, I can't hear an entire industry of people complain about how hard it is to be on the road and how you have to, because I get it. It's just like being in the MLB. You were traveling around playing for shit money in AAA for a long time.
Yes, I was.
And sacrificing it to do a game that you love, that you were, really good at, that you played your whole life. Unionize. Holy fuck. Like, at no point, and that's ego. That's the bullshit of this industry. That's where the really the ugly underbelly of WWE and professional wrestling is exposed, because the fact that there is not a union it's an indictment on this era.
So it's funny you say that. The reason why I hated AEW is, well, there's a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons specifically was they were touting themselves as the different company. They're the brand that was going to do something, everything different. And no, you were just exactly the same, but light.
Yeah. Thanks, Cody and CM Punk, for starting a whole new era of the same fucking bullshit.
Yeah, and I was actually furious with Cody, because Cody was out there fucking touting. He's like, yeah, we're going to do it. I thought they were going to give the wrestlers health care and get them to unionize. No, you just created more of the same bullshit. Yeah. You guys are all carny fucks, Cody especially. And again, I'll give Punk a little bit more credit.
Punk's a little bit better, but like, again, I understand you guys have nowhere else to go, but at some point, someone's got to sack up. And by the way, I'm not putting it on the lower tier people. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, anybody? And by the way, Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair I'm going to put after the men, because every single time it's going to be fucking men.
That is
God
fair.
forbid women start a goddamn union.
Yeah,
but like,
I can only imagine how many fucking assholes will turn on Becky Lynch fast.
And Charlotte, for God's sake. I mean, Jesus, right? But I will say Charlotte has a pretty good inroad with her father. So something's got to give, because that, I mean, I know we've gotten into a WWE tangent now, but like,
it's an ugly business.
If you've been through it and you know how hard it is, which it is actually difficult.
Very.
Don't retire and leave the next generation to fucking flail. Somebody step the fuck up.
Somebody.
Because they tried.
And Hulk Hogan stopped it.
Hulk Hogan.
And by the way, that was like 40 fucking years ago.
It was like what, like 1990?
It was like, no, it was the 80s. It was the 80s? Because the one that talked about it, that said fucked everything up, was Jesse the Body Ventura, and I believe he was still
like the 70s.
No, this was specific. I know it was the 80s.
Okay.
But it was like early 80s.
That's right, Jesse the Body. You're right.
It was Jesse the Body Ventura.
Old school.
So like,
imagine had they been able to pull it off back then. What a difference the entire industry would be.
We'd actually be living in a utopia right now. It would be a utopia.
Did Hulk Hogan
We'd have flying cars right now.
Wait, did Hulk Hogan put us into the darkest timeline?
He did. Hulk Hogan not allowing wrestlers to unionize is the reason we don't have flying cars.
I'm not even going to lie.
Boom.
I actually feel like that ripple effect might be more significant than we've ever considered.
The reason we don't have a fucking utopia is because Hulk Hogan wanted $10 more million.
We could have a $25 minimum wage right now if it weren't for fucking Hulk Hogan fucking over Jesse the Body Ventura.
Hulk Hogan. You know how shit you gotta be for me to take Jesse Ventura's fucking side?
Solid point.
Fuck me.
We do find ourselves taking the side of the lesser evil too frequently.
This is the only option we got.
It really is.
Media Corner 2. actually something actually good.
Pretty delightful, actually, and it's kind of wild because it's the opposite of what we were just talking about, which is like something happened that was revolutionary from a union.
Wow.
And nobody seems to have an issue with it.
Even,
which is even crazier.
fucking chauvinists. What?
We've silenced the chauvinists. So the WNBA put in a clause in their recent CBA, which was finalized. It's been completely done now. It's official. That will require teams to get player consent if they want to trade a pregnant player. This is the sort of de facto De'Erica Hamby rule.
Yeah.
Because
Big
this
deal.
happened with
It was
ugly,
too.
ugly situation with Becky Hammon. And you know, she was pregnant and then they traded her. You can't fucking do it. This is a world where pregnant women are discriminated against in the workplace frequently, not just in the WNBA. I'm talking about just society. For a country that really wants everybody to be pregnant, they don't want them to be pregnant working.
Yeah.
So this was a massive win. It was like a very feminist win in this CBA.
It really was.
To say that not only are we going to look out for each other in terms of getting paid, but like this is a big deal for women out in the workplace,
Absolutely.
not just the WNBA.
And by the way, I can't believe this completely fell off the radar.
Because we
today.
didn't have the details,
Yeah.
right? So as soon as the details of the actual CBA were released, that clause kind of came out. It stood out. And what I will say is, as soon as I saw this, I was like, that's an incredible step forward for women athletes. This is something that'll set the standard for all kinds of women's leagues and women in the workplace. Because this is something, you know, I've never been pregnant, but of course I'm a woman and I've dealt with, you know, watching my pregnant colleagues get discriminated against, have these like odd, uncomfortable conversations in workplaces where it's like, well, how much time are they going to need off? Right? As soon as you start thinking, oh, somebody's going to need 6 to 9 months off because they're having a baby, now they're not as valuable of an employee because God forbid we value women's role in society. These are fucking major issues. So setting the standard, it's pretty precedent setting.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for the pushback. I was waiting for the right wings, the Outkicks, the Jason Whitlocks to come out and just, you know, be
No,
loud
Jason
about
Whitlock
it.
was busy ordering a hooker or something.
I think he's talking to Cam Newton as we speak.
Yeah. So he fell off his
But I
radar.
kept waiting for it, and I'm not going to lie. I saw the Outkick thing come up when I was Googling my research about it a few days ago when it came out, because I always whenever I see a headline on Instagram, you know, on an Instagram graphic, I'm like, time for me to look up if this is real, because I've got too many times.
Yeah, it's tricky.
So I'm looking it up, and one of the things that came up was from Outkick, which is a notoriously right-wing sports media site started by
A lot of pieces of shit over there.
Clay
Let's put it that.
Travis
Clay
and, yeah.
Travis, piece of shit.
So it's right wing. It's sort of the Fox News of
I've met
sports.
Clay, by the way. He doesn't believe a fucking word he says.
No, Clay's an absolute.
He's a fucking clown.
He's an absolute fraud. He worked at Fox Sports.
Yeah,
I
he's
worked
a
on that
charlatan.
show.
He's a
Yeah.
fucking absolute fraud.
But
Biggest fraud in this industry.
Anytime something happens with a woman, like a woman breathes, Outkicks like, can you believe this bitch breathed? Like it's, I'm barely exaggerating. So I'm waiting for it. And basically the Outkick article on it was like, you know, it was a little bit like, it was just sort of like, oh, that's wild. Like, blah, blah, you're not going to see this in the MLB, although I guess you never know now. And then they were like, guess it makes sense. And it was just like, that was the end of the article. And I was like, I kept waiting for the.
Wait, go back. I'm glad you got your weird trans joke in. Fuck you.
Yeah, well, of course they got a trans
Twat.
joke. But it wasn't even, they didn't even say it would be bad if it happened in the MLB. They were just like, guess it
No,
could.
actually, if it does happen in the MLB, I really do hope they get this too.
Yeah.
That's very
No,
important.
of course. But they were like, guess it could, you never know. And then they were like, guess it makes sense.
Fucking hate
And
these
ended
guys.
and I was like, where is the outrage? And so my question is like, are people just too tired to be like, are we getting to the point of like, we've got so much to be sexist about? My theory, I'll share my theory and you can tell me
Let's
if you
hear it.
agree with it, is that this CBA kind of threw a lot of like sexist and misogynist in sports media for a loop, because they spent years and years saying the WNBA is trash. These women don't fucking deserve to get paid. They're never going to get paid. They're not the NBA. The NBA, supports this league. They suck money out of everything. Blah, blah,
Boy,
blah.
oh boy, have
And-
I heard that narrative for a long, long time.
Like, I don't think people even understand how long that narrative has been being put
I would
out
say
there.
20 years.
Yeah. So that was, and And now, not only is that like obviously we saw the Caitlin Clark of it all, and then their new coping mechanism was like all they have is Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark made your league. Your league sucks outside of Caitlin Clark. And then all of a sudden, Caitlin Clark was hurt, and the league was still doing really well. And Asia Wilson became a 4-time MVP, and everybody realized she's the best player in the WNBA. And then they secure this fucking CBA where they're all going to get paid, where they're going to become millionaires, even if they don't have endorsement deals. And they proved everybody wrong. And it almost just feels like a lot of these guys who've spent 5, 10, 15, 20 years being like the WNBA sucks, no one's ever going to care about women playing basketball, are finally like, okay, I guess, like, they're not going to say I was wrong, because God forbid that happen, right? But like, it seems like they're afraid to talk shit. I think the CBA has made the men a little afraid to talk shit. I've never seen anything like it. I have been in this industry since January of 2010 when I walked into NBC Sports Boston, and the first thing someone asked me was if I could go pick up Tommy Heinsohn's dinner. Since then, I have been in sports media every single minute of my life, and I have never seen a situation like this where the men were like, cool.
Good. Good.
Especially the fucking right-wing men.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Good. No, they just use it I'm more annoyed. They don't have anything to say at all. They just use it as an opportunity to make a trans joke. So again, fuck you, Outkick. Fuck you.
Yeah,
You're a bunch of bitches. Yeah. Bitches.
And also, I hope there is a pregnant MLB
Me too.
player.
And I hope they're not traded without their consent.
Exactly. Yeah.
I've seen
they
Louis
won't
Jr.
be, by the way, because of the WNBA. Like, that's the thing, is like now there's precedent for this. I love that shit. Oh God, I love women. I love them. I love them so much. We're so smart. We're so good at everything. Yes.
Let's get to what I've really been waiting for. It's time for Pop Culture Corner. And this comes with visual aids and musical aids, because I want to give you the backstory of the early 2000s greatest musical artist.
I wonder if my mom remembers me jamming this song off of like LimeWire, illegally downloading it.
No, because you got high. Because you got high. Because you got high.
Wasn't even getting high. Just acting like I was.
You weren't. Ladies and gentlemen, Afro Man is back in the greatest ways possible. Those of you that might remember a couple of years ago, Afro Man home got raided by police in his small town in Ohio. And in that process, it was apparently reported to said small town cops in Ohio, town of less than 1,000 people, by the way, who were told that he was sex trafficking and trafficking drugs and had a sex dungeon in his basement. They could have pulled his plans and found out that he didn't have a basement, just for starters, but they didn't do that. Instead, they...
You can't just install a basement, by the way, in case
by
some
the
people
way,
don't know that. But
basements are really tricky to install to already built homes.
You can't just dig a hole.
That being said, they decided to get a warrant and break down his gate, and I do mean tear down his gate, kick in his door, take literal money from his home, and found absolutely, and I'm not kidding, nothing.
Not a thing.
Not a thing. And then when they repaid the money that they stole from him, didn't give him the correct amount back. They were short money. They ended up paying him back, but that was a problem. He then called them saying, are you going to fix my door you kicked down, my gate, my home you destroyed? And they apparently kind of like snickered saying, oh, we don't have to do that. That pissed off Afro Man. So Afro Man went ahead and released a couple of songs using his home footage from said thing. And let's start with Lemon Pound Cake.
Randy Walters is the son of a bitch. Yeah, that's why I fucked his wife and got filthy rich.
Granted, this is not Lemon Pound Cake. It is Randy Walters as a son of a bitch, which, by the way, was heavily brought up during the court case. And the reason I'm going to bring up the court case, and we're not going to get to it yet, because here, let's now get to Lemon Pound Cake, the other hit song in
There were
this
so many.
wonderful album.
No,
You don't have it?
we don't have lemon
It's
pound
in the
cake.
videos?
No, we might not have lemon pound cake.
Well, it's okay. Lemon Pound Cake was another song because one of the cops stared at his lemon pound cake, and he
No,
wrote
it
a
really
whole song
is.
about it.
It's a weird moment in the footage where this cop very clearly wants to eat this
Yeah,
kid.
he stops because by the way, he's looking for sex trafficked people allegedly.
Yeah.
And instead he sees lemon pound cake, double takes it multiple times, and the song's amazing.
And Afro Man made a whole song about how that guy really wanted the lemon
Yes,
pound cake.
and obviously Randy Walters is a son of a bitch and talking about sleeping with his wife. And, anyways, he was sued by the department for defamation because all of these cops were constantly getting harassed nonstop, including Chief Lemon Pound Cake, who apparently went to other precincts and they would call him that. So much so that dozens and dozens of lemon pound cakes were sent to the precinct.
God forbid you get a bunch of free. I would love lemon pound cake, to be quite honest.
Honestly, that sounds wonderful.
Make a viral video about me. Oh my God, I'm such a loser. I love organic orange wine.
I love organic orange wine. I'm just saying.
Damn. I hope nobody starts sending the podcast a bunch of wine to make fun of me.
I know, what a horrible thing. But anyways, these guys try to sue him. It went comically wrong. I mean, just so bad to the point where I can't believe I'm saying this. Afro Man went on the stand and didn't just demolish. He took that entire precinct to an incinerator.
Now, how do you know that Randy is a son of a bitch?
Well, that's the thing. It's not exactly something that's provable. So I'm questioning, and here's all the things. They try to sue him for defamation. The lemon pound cake thing, there's nothing
No.
there's no defamation in that.
Like it's super embarrassing. Like that was the best part about this is it's sort of the American experience with the police, which is that like the police are always breaking the rules, violating your rights, and then as soon as you make a parody sort of video or song about it, or as soon as you fight back, they're like, how dare you say this about us? And then they don't also reveal, by the way, that not only do the individual officers not understand the law, not understand what defamation is, but the department that allowed them to sue Afro Man also don't understand. None of this was ever going to be defamation. It's not within the you can call anyone a son of a bitch, by the way.
I'll go a step further. Just so we're all clear, the only like defamatory statement is that he slept with Randy Walters' wife. But it's very clearly that this song's a joke. These songs are so protected under the First Amendment.
Also, it's not defamatory to say you slept with someone's wife.
Yes.
If that's such a that would have to be a very strict definition.
Also, you can't prove that he didn't.
You can't prove that he didn't, number one. And two, it's only defamatory if you're toxically monogamous.
So,
which some people might not think that that's crazy, you know?
My concern is that this never should have gotten to trial to begin with.
Yeah.
These songs are beyond protected by the First Amendment.
This is the man who made
'Cause I Got High.
'Cause I Got High.
When weed was still very illegal. Like, I can't stress this enough. This was very protected under the First Amendment. I can't believe he even got there. But the fact that he got on the stage and talked about expressing his First Amendment rights, I was able to take my bad time and turn it into a good time, which was a direct quote, which I thought was a great quote.
Gorgeous.
I don't know what to say other than I love everything about this. And watching those cops, those plumpy little short fat cops sitting there just like, I've been making fun, it's caused tremendous pain. I can't laugh at you more.
He called me a son of a bitch. This man wrote a lyric that said, now I'm jacking off and I know why. Because I got high. I need you guys to be so fucking for real. God, the cops are so embarrassing. The cops imagine being a cop. Just imagine being a cop.
I'm going to imagine being a cop, and I'm going to imagine being one of the really good cops and sitting there and watching these guys walk in.
Oh my God, one of the not bad apples. I feel so bad for the not bad apples.
I would never not make fun of these guys. Every time Lemon Pound Cake Chief walks in the room, Lemon Pound Cake, what up? Threaten to fire me all you want. I'm gonna fucking sue the shit out of you. You don't know what defamation means.
If you're so offended, retire and become a fucking Dunkin' Donuts manager. You absolute fucking loser.
I just can't stress
By
enough.
the way, why did I say that? Dunkin' Donuts managers actually are some of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. Because I have worked at several Dunkin' Donuts when I was younger, and some of those women were the best women in my life. They treated me so well when I was a teenager.
You're so fucking
so
Boston.
actually, you know what?
I worked at
See,
Dunkin'.
this is like, you can't even tell a cop to get a shitty job because there's no shittier job than cop.
That is true. Can you, by the way, can I ask you a question for you?
Oh, my God.
Before we end the show, I just really want to know this.
What?
You're from Boston, and I know you taught yourself not to speak with a Boston accent.
Yeah.
Can I hear the real Tanya?
No, you cannot.
Why? I want to hear the real Tanya.
The real Tanya.
Tell me the real Tanya's Dunkin' Donuts order.
No, the real Tanya is this now. There is, if you get me drunk enough around my family, the Boston accent releases itself sort of like like
Mama
an inner
Fox,
demon.
we're doing this. Mama Fox.
Yes.
Mama Fox.
Yeah.
Now, you're coming to LA
Because
soon,
you've heard
right?
my mom's accent. It's there.
Oh, yes.
Chris.
Mama Fox, I know you're watching. Come
Yeah.
on, can we do this, please?
It comes out. And I'm going to show you, by the way, I have to show you the clips of myself when I was young on my Dedham public television show where I have my Boston accent. That will really, I told you, we'll play a clip. We'll play a clip on air. It's really funny.
Can't
It's
fucking
ridiculous.
wait. I
Yeah.
really cannot wait. I'm so excited for this. Listen, I know on Friday we said we were going to get to the bloody sock. We ran out of time. We will get to the bloody sock because it never fucking happened, and it's embarrassing that she thinks it did.
See, the thing is that we're when we get to the bloody sock, that's what, and I don't want to spoil it for people. I really don't. But that's where you're going to finally admit that, like, this is all a bit. You've always been kind of just joking about the whole
No, I'm not
thing.
joking.
And
He was eating spaghetti in that fucking dugout, and he spilled some marinara on his sock, and he thinks he's a fucking hero. Oh, God.
Now, I actually would believe he'd eat spaghetti in the
course.
dugout because he's a gross piece of
He
shit.
is such a gross piece of shit.
But the thing about gross pieces of shit is that they can sometimes pitch really well.
Oh, get over yourself.
And that, unfortunately, those two things can coexist. However, that does not mean that I think that he is a good person. And whether or not you think the bloody sock was real, I think we can both agree that everybody should subscribe.
Yeah, they should like, share, and subscribe, and most importantly, say out loud, fuck you, Kurt Schilling.
Fuck you, Kurt Schilling.